The purpose of living, the purpose of the spiritual path is to get to that state of awakening. Buddha said that when he reached enlightenment, just one statement, simple statement. He said, I am awake. Incredibly simple. Which means all of us are fast asleep. So Buddha reached that state or embarked on the journey. He was a prince. He had everything material that one could ask for. He had a wonderful family, a young son, wife, everything going for him. And when he was born, a soothsayer, an astrologer had told his father that this boy is going to renounce the world. So his father tried everything in his power to prevent him from, Siddhartha was his name, prevent him from coming across any sorrow whatsoever, nothing that would make him give up. What he termed as give up. And yet, Buddha saw 4 passing sights, just casual sights. Number 1, he saw an old man. Number 2, a diseased person, sick person. Then he saw a corpse. And the last is he saw a sage. Now these 4 we see all the time. Nothing happens to us. But in him, it brought about a complete change, transformation. And he understood the futility of living because none of us can escape these what we call as metamorphic changes of life, which are birth, growth, disease, decay, death. In fact, most of life is movement from one sorrow to another, one suffering to another, one upheaval to another. By the time you pick up the pieces and put them together, you get hit again. And in between the 2 sorrows, whatever little joy you can grasp, that's the happiness that we are experiencing. But we are so acclimatized to sorrow that we don't even understand the plight that we are in. It requires a person of outstanding caliber to just see what's happening. Therefore, the first call that the masters give us is just open your eyes and see what's happening around you in life. No one is asking you to give up life. You can't. Where will you go? Wherever you go, it is still part of the world. So Buddha didn't give up anything. No sage worth the name has given up anything. But they've just understood that this is what life is all about. So what they speak of, when Buddha said, I am awake, what does it mean? Every one of us goes through 3 states of consciousness. The waking state in which we are all in at the moment. And by the time half an hour, 45 minutes goes, some of us will slip into another state. The deep sleep state or the dream state. And this is our life. We go revolving around these 3 states. Each one is distinct and different from the other. There is no connection between these 3 states. And it never occurs to us. Like it occurred to King Janaka. King Janaka one night woke up from a frightening dream. He dreamt that he was a beggar begging in the streets. And immediately in the middle of the night, he called for an emergency cabinet meeting. And the question that he asked all his cabinet ministers was the profound question, which never occurs to us, which is, am I the king who just dreamt that I was the beggar? Or am I the beggar who is now imagining myself to be the king? Does this ever occur to you when you wake up from a dream and remember the dream? But that is the fundamental question that we need to address. Is this, the waking state, real? Or is the dream that we have experienced and woken up from real? Or is the deep sleep real? The beauty of our experiences is when you are in any given state, you believe that state to be real and you go around with complete involvement, total identification as if it was going to last forever. But it never occurs to you right now, for instance, this waking state that you are experiencing in another 2 hours will be gone. And when you are in the dream state, if someone were to come and tell you, see, suppose you are a well-settled person, you're married, you have children, and everyone's doing well, you have no problems whatsoever, economy is booming, you are also booming. And in the dream, you dream that you are uneducated, here you are a PhD, MBA. You dream that you are unmarried and you are dying to get married. Where? In the dream. You dream that you can't make both ends meet, you got all kinds of trials and challenges you're going through in the dream. So when you are in the dream, if someone were to come and tell you that, look, what are you saying? You're saying that you haven't eaten for 10 days? I know that you have just eaten, and not just eaten, you've eaten to your heart's content till it's coming out of your nostrils. You're full. In fact, you're so full that you have projected the dream. And you say, I don't understand what you're talking about. I'm starving. I don't have a spouse. I don't have a home. I'm illiterate. I'm miserable. You yourself, when you pass into the dream state, you deny the existence of the very waking state that you swear by right now. The same you. And in the deep sleep, you deny both the waking and the dream. So the question that should arise, which arose in Janaka's mind is this real or is that real? And so the ministers were looking at each other, wondering whether this king had lost it. Until he said, I give you 1 week's time. And if you don't come back with an answer within a week, I will drop you from the cabinet. That's when they woke up, because they wanted to hang on to their chairs. So they went around desperately looking for an answer. They asked everyone. Ultimately, they came across the famous sage Ashtavakra, who in his wisdom knew that these ministers will never understand the truth. So he told them, said, don't worry. At the appointed time, I will appear in court and I will myself give the answer to the king. You will retain your seats and the king will get the answer. So Ashtavakra appeared in court. And Janaka was inspired at the very sight of the sage Ashtavakra, without any answer being given. And Janaka asked the question with the same intensity that he felt the moment he woke up from his dream. And he asked him, he said, a week back, I dreamt that I was a beggar suffering from starvation. The question that I have to ask is, am I the king who dreamt that I was a beggar, or am I the beggar who imagined myself to be the king? And Ashtavakra gave the answer very simply. He says, O king, you are neither the king, nor the beggar, nor the deep sleeper. You are Atman. So that fourth plane of consciousness, with the Atman which pervades the three states of consciousness and exists beyond in its pristine glory. That is you. Even now, when you go through the three states of consciousness, you understand that there is only one factor that you carry along with you, and that is I. But in any given state, you identify with the waker, dreamer, or deep sleeper, and then you've lost the I. You say, I am the waker, I am the dreamer, I am the deep sleeper. You never understand the pure I by itself. And that is what Buddha understood. So he reached that state of Turyavastha, the fourth plane of consciousness. Now, the scriptures, the Bhagavad Gita, Vedantic texts, all spiritual practices also belong to the waking state. So therefore, they are also a part of this illusion. So the question that arises is, then why should we give this extra importance? If this is also part of the dream, part of the illusion that is the waking state, why should we give it importance? And the sages give us a wonderful answer to that. And they say Vedanta and all the scriptures are like a dream lion. When you're in the dream, you're experiencing the dream and you see a lion coming towards you and you're running away from the lion, and that eventually the lion pounces on you. Then what happens? You wake up. So even though the lion in the dream is as illusory as any other part of the dream, it has one outstanding quality, in that it has the ability to push you from the dream to the waking state. And that's exactly what Vedanta is. That's exactly what the Bhagavad Gita and all the scriptures are. Therefore, you need to hang on to them till you wake up. They call it Swapna Simhavat. Swapna, dream, Simha, lion, vat, like. The Gita is like a dream lion. Even though it's part of the illusion, it's part of the dream, it has one outstanding ability, in that it enables you to wake up like Buddha did and declare to the world that Aham Brahmasmi, I am awake. It's as simple as that. So, the problem with us is, as Buddha said, Mara. Mara means involvement with the world, desire for worldly objects. This is what the temptation is. And it's the easy way out. You don't need any teaching, coaching, tutorial to rush after the world. But to follow the higher pathway, to identify with the best in you, to make an effort to move upward is difficult. So anything higher, you need to put in effort for. And therefore, a person who's an achiever, a person who succeeds in life, a person who really moves up the ladder, spiritually or otherwise, in terms of self-development, is one who is constantly stepping out of his comfort zone. See, every one of us is comfortable the way we are. But if you remain in the comfort zone, you don't move up. A musician, a sports person, a cricketer, a tennis player, a chartered accountant, a lawyer, a businessman. All of us are at a given level. And the easiest thing to do is to remain there. But life's mission is to move forward, just as the river never stops. It keeps going until it reaches the ocean. There are forces in nature which keep pushing us forward. And if you resist it, the law of life is move forward or perish. Change or perish is the law of life. So if you resist it, you'll be crushed by the very law. If you go along with it, you chug along. But if you make that effort to move out of your comfort zone and